So, how did you get, this way?
What? How did I become a vampire or an addict?
Well, both, I guess, if you don't mind.
Well, I've been a vampire for about 19 years.
Well, it was an accident. I mean, it's not like I meant it to happen.
I met some interesting vampires where I worked, and I thought that they were more knowledgeable about the benefits of vampirism.
I woke up the next morning and I just felt so sick and I couldn't remember what had happened and I couldn't remember anything. So I finally went to the doctor's office. They actually told me that I was a vampire and I didn't believe it. I just couldn't.
And eventually they introduced me to fresh blood. But from the first day I started drinking it, I knew I had to stop. I just couldn't.
I went right on eating normal foods and I kept trying to just be human.
And that's when I lost everything. I couldn't stand synthetic or any other substitutes by then. Eventually I only left my place to get a fresh pack.
And eventually I just got sick because I wasn't feeding myself. I still can't stand the idea of drinking blood. Just these pills and the medicine, it's hard for me. And just thinking about what it was.
I didn't know what to do. I can't remember it clearly, but I ended up attacking somebody on the street. I was so weak, I was pulled off before anything happened.
I think it was because I couldn't adapt. I mean, the change was just too much for me. I wish I had.
How am I supposed to do this? I can't deal with all of that. I can't do this.
What's wrong? Is this about the rehab? Abby, come on. Those people were totally messed up. You're not gonna be like one of them. You have me, you have Emily. Abby, you're a good person.
How do you know? How do you know I won't wake up one morning and want to drink my parents' blood? I can't deal with that, Nathaniel. I just can't.
Abby, you won't have to. Listen, you don't even know any of the good stuff yet. I mean, really, before you go and judge us like you are, don't you think you should try and at least see the big picture first?
God. I'm sorry, Nate. I didn't mean it like that.
I know, really, you should at least... I don't see why you had to go to the rehab first, that's all.
Alright. I'll try to look at the brighter side of being a vampire.
Now, can you please turn the camera off? I'm getting sick of this thing. Let's have a conversation.
Even though you live in a climate that is overcast most of the year, your skin will become extremely sensitive to even the slightest rays of sunlight. With high protection factor sunscreen, however, you can easily black out these rays and walk around in daylight without any skin irritation whatsoever.
I'm Ivan Anatoly. I'm the Northwest Section President of SBI, the world's leading distributor of synthetic blood.
You pretty much know my story already. I was a foster child for a while until Emily took me in. It wasn't weird at all being taken in by a vampire.
Well, I've been involved in the manufacture of synthetic blood for about 30 years, but before that, I was involved in the research group who were looking to find some alternative that was a little more acceptable than human blood.
and it wasn't long before I myself wanted to be a vampire. And, I mean, for a while I just thought I was going through a phase.
Yeah, you didn't bring it up after a while, but then you turned legal, and you brought it up again, and I wanted to respect your decision, but I knew that I did not want to do it myself. I wanted it to be done safely, so we went to a clinic.
I made the conscious decision to switch my palate over to a more acceptable alternative from human blood.
Well, I lived in Santa Barbara when I was 23, and that's where I met Danny. He was the first vampire I ever met, and it was the summer of love, and I was experimenting with different lifestyles and beliefs.
I'd say that I've done pretty well for myself, especially without the added cost of procuring human blood. I've been able to amass quite a bit, as a matter of fact. I'm looking forward in the autumn to moving into a castle I've recently purchased in the Scottish Highlands, overlooking the moors. Just breathtaking, breathtaking country. Certainly a lot of old blood, shall we say, resides in that area.
After a while, I actually asked Danny to change me. That's how I ended up the way I am, a vampire, I mean.
At some point in time, Bela Lugosi, Marilyn Manson, they've all had homes there. As a matter of fact, one of my close neighbors is Angelica Houston. You might remember her from the Addams Family movies, which she was excellent in, but I was surprised to learn that she's in fact a vampire.
And, I didn't do it for him. I did it for me, and I never regretted it, but I faced some challenges that I don't think you will face. It's going to be easier for you than it was for me. So I can't say that I regretted it. And I'm still who I am, and you can still be who you are. You can still be Abigail.
I am. I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire.
So, it seems you've been pretty busy with your documentary.
Yeah, well, I might have gotten a little carried away, but it was worth it.
Well, I know you hate this question, but how are you feeling about this? You've definitely made the full transition by now.
I guess I finally realized I was happy with who I was when they became I.